Looking back at the division, I mean, you've seen it through many decades and years. The AL West has changed a lot, and there's always a really good team or two, but it seems like right now with Texas and Houston and Seattle, as much as they fought in it, and the Angels are always their own story lately, but this might be the toughest the division was for you guys as maybe it's ever been?
I think we're looking up the furthest than we ever have.
Yeah.
I mean, this has always been a tough division. It's always been teams that have spent, teams with stars. I mean, those Houston teams, obviously, even Texas in the years where they weren't necessarily competing, they had big names and stars. And it seems like the Angels may have one fewer star next year. We don't know that yet, but
some say two, by the way.
Right. They're going to be tough to deal with. And Seattle fell short of the playoffs this year, but was tough all year. They were probably our toughest, head-to-head opponent this season. So it's always going to be tough. What
is your view on just baseball overall? The spending aspect of it versus the results you get from it. There does seem to be a parallel, like there's some happy middle ground. You don't have to be a Mets or Padres or Dodgers. Middle of the pack does seem like it provides the most value in terms of opportunity.
Yeah, I don't think there's an easy formula. Look, hopefully we proved for a long time that you don't have to be in the top half to compete. I mean, I think there was a book written about that at some point.
And a movie.
But it also gets proven every year that you need to have depth, you need to have stars. Those are the things that win ultimately, and otherwise you're really battling uphill every year.
A couple more things. We've talked about the major league team, obviously the minor league team, and the pipeline also very important. From what we didn't maybe see from AAA, AA, single A, and everywhere else in between, was it a good developmental year for the Oakland A's?
I think it was. I think we had guys take some real big steps forward. I mentioned the Fall League. Max Muncy's one guy who made a huge leap this year as a 21-year-old in AA. Actually got better when he made the jump from high to AA, which is a really good sign. And some other guys around him, Cooper Bowman, Brett Harris, Denzel Clark, like all these guys made some progress this year. There's some really good arms in the system. I feel like we had a really good year developmentally.
How do you quantify that stuff? Is it the numbers and the stats, or is it the eye contact of your scouts and what you hear?
It's both. I mean, we get reports every day from our player development group. Ed Sprague does a great job getting these guys to stay on those reports and make sure we know who's doing what. But it is in those numbers. It's the guys who make a leap from one level to the next and keep their head above water or even excel. And it's guys who at a young age can compete. There's good things in store for them.
We talked about how this team turned it around, maybe gelled, came together at a later point in the season. If you were to start next year, 2024, with basically the same group that ended 2023, you'd probably have to instantly feel better about just the chances of next year and where things are headed next year.
Yeah, I'd instantly feel better about the ceiling of that team and where they could go. If guys develop, they get better, guys have played together more. Again, we talked about the pitching progress. I would definitely feel better about that group.
And because you've been through this process before in the mid-2010s now and going through it now and even a time before that, is it tough to set expectations based on the fact that it's happened quickly, like the last time 2017 turned into 2018 and 97 wins a couple years in a row? Is there a pressure to get back to something like that, or does this have to happen organically?
It does. You have to have patience. Patience is a word we talk about a lot. But that said, I mean, the 2012 team kind of came out of nowhere. We made some trades that off season. Similarly, 2018, I don't think we had expectations. I think, best case, it happens when you least expect it.